Hey, good evening, friends. Welcome back to Carl's Off the Grid. On this week's episode of Carl's Off the Grid, we're going to, it's going to be a two-part video. In the first part of the video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what's going on at the cabin and what happened to me last week. And the second part, I'm going to take you to a secluded lake where I find kind of a real neat surprise that's hidden deep in the woods. So first things first, excuse me. The reason I'm not at the cabin this week is last week after we got done excavating the yard and moving the trees around, I was soaking wet, went in the cabin and was hanging up my wet clothes around the wood burning stove, and I was stricken with a burning sensation on my right hip. And I lifted up my shirt to see what happened. I thought maybe my belt had rubbed against my hip and rubbed my skin raw and whatever. And when I lifted up my shirt, I was horrified with what I seen. There was a black dot that was about not quite as big as a dime. It was about half the size of a dime in diameter. And that black dot had a white ring around the edge of it. And then there was like a blood red color that was about the size of maybe a quarter. And then there was another ring around that. And then there was a pink raised ring that was around everything. And that was about the size of a 50-cent piece. And I was horrified. I thought, what in the world did I do? Earlier that day we'd been grouse hunting. I thought maybe a piece of birdshot had ricocheted and hit me in the side and I didn't realize it. And so I kind of picked and poked at it, and all of a sudden on the end of my finger was a miniature tick. The head, the body, everything, and it was crawling around, and I thought, this is odd. I've never been bit by a tick or had any issues with ticks when there has been snow on the ground. This surely has to be a fluke. And then it hit me. I looked at that ring and I said, I've heard of these symptoms before. I better get to see a doctor. I bet you I have a chance of getting Lyme disease. And sure enough, we went to the little community where the cabin is, and the medical facility was closing down. They suggested that I do a virtual visit with a doctor. I did a virtual visit. He looked at the infected area, and he agreed right away that it's something I better get attention to. And he told me that right away the next day I should come in contact with my own regular doctor, and it was confirmed I have Lyme disease. And I was just shocked. How in the world can this happen to me, especially in winter? I've been bitten by hundreds of wood ticks, and never once has it ever hurt. Sometimes they'll bury their head in you, and there's little tricks you can do to get the head out and the body out. You can do the old trick of putting Vaseline over the top of them, or sometimes you put the hot end of a match tip, blow a match out and quick stick the embers on its butt end and it'll back out, and never felt any pain from that. But this was very distinct. It was a burning sensation, like I had literally just had a bullet rip into my hip. And I don't know if that's normal. If any of you that are viewing this video have ever had Lyme disease and feel like you'd like to share your experience in the comments section, I'd greatly appreciate it. And I think as a community it could help benefit all of us that love being in the outdoors. So how am I doing now? They've got me on meds. They expect that there should be a pretty good chance of me recovering fully, but I am experiencing some of the joyful side effects. I can sleep pretty good up till about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then at that point in time, I'm a side sleeper, so my shoulders hurt, and I'm constantly tossing and turning. In the morning when I first wake up, I'm a bit nauseous and a little bit dizzy. The other day I was getting into my tree stand, and you can see on my forehead, I started to fall off the tree stand. I grabbed it and put a steel rod into my forehead, and It's just little subtle things like that that I'm experiencing right now. About maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I lose all energy, and that's when I really start to crash. My skin hurts to the touch. When I have clothes touching my skin, like if I'm wearing a jacket or anything, it's almost flu-like symptoms where it hurts just to have things touching you. So I'm hoping that goes away as this medication starts to take effect, and yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. Um, I am not going to show on this video what the bite looks like. I think a lot of you would be interested in seeing it, but it was pretty gruesome, and I think a lot of people would be turned off from it. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make you a promise. If I can get 500 comments on this video, in an upcoming video, we'll go ahead and I'll post what the wound looks like. I'll post what the bite looks like. But those 500 comments have to be before the first of the year. If I don't have a total of 500 comments by the first of the year, I won't share that that footage. But if we're successful, I'd gladly share it with you, and I'll warn all my subscribers and viewers first, so that if you don't want to see it, you don't have to see what looks pretty gruesome. So that's the update. I got Lyme disease, and now we're just going to learn to work with it and deal with it. Like I said earlier, it just shocked me that it would happen in the winter. I've never been bit by a tick after end of July, maybe 1 or 2 in August, and certainly this was the first time I ever was bit by a deer tick. And so if you had the experience and you feel okay with sharing it in the comment section, let's compare notes. And I don't know if I'm feeling multiple symptoms from different things happening or if this is normal. So all right, that's the update on where I'm at with my health. Hopefully next week we'll be at the cabin. I'm gonna play it a little bit at a time, and we'll see. If I'm feeling good enough, I'll head back to the cabin and we'll continue on with some of the chores and some of the installation of new things that I want to do at the cabin. And if not, I may post like a bow hunting or an archery update. I usually do one of those a year, and so I think I have a few subscribers that look forward to that, so maybe we'll post that video. So all right, I won't put it off any longer. Let's get into this hike that I took earlier this year. You might recognize 1 or 2 of the scenes in there. I was going to use this footage, and then for some reason things changed and I didn't use it. So in the video you're going to see we still have green leaves and green grass everywhere. That's why. And check this out. You're never going to believe what I found in the middle of the national forest up there. This had to have been made by some lumberjack that was looking for a place to rest his weary bones on his lunchtime or what. I can't figure it out. But without any further ado, let's get into the video. You guys got to check this out. I've been fishing this lake for quite a while, and I've never seen anything like this. Right in the middle of the woods. somebody made the perfect seat for me to watch a sunset. It was pretty sweet. Whoever it was pretty creative. I didn't notice this at first. Got a spot for your drink. That's nuts.